Hey guys, I thought you might like a couple more practice questions for our final unit assessment that is this week. So I created some that are very similar to ones that are going to be on the test, all about angles, since that was the last thing that we learned. If we have a bunch of lines that are creating angles, and I promise on the test they'll be better drawn than this, but let's see here. How about we have one this way and then one this way. Cool. And let's say we have a bunch of angles here, right? Everywhere two lines meet, we have angles. Let's say that this angle here is 62 degrees. And let's say that this angle here is 42 degrees. And we have x here. We don't know. This is what we want to find. X marks the spot. And this is 36 degrees. So this is a little bit tricky because there's so many things to know. But we want to know what x is. Okay? We know a couple of things. We know this angle is 62 degrees, and I'm thinking they gave this to me for a reason. I know that vertical angles are the same, so this here is also going to be 62 degrees. Here's an important fact we need to know for this. I'll reiterate it tomorrow. All of the angles in a triangle add up to be 180 degrees. Triangle, add to 180. Okay, so look, I can find this angle here if I know that 62 degrees, right? Let's even change that color. Let's do pink. I know that this angle, oops, this angle and this angle all need to add up to be 180 degrees. So this was 62, right? Let's make it pink. So all my pink angles need to add up to be 180 degrees. So I have 62 plus 42. Those are the two I already know. That gives me 104. So the question is 104 plus some number I don't know is going to equal 180 degrees. You can do this in your head, right? You could try to count up in your head, or we just subtract 104 from both sides of this equation that I wrote. And you get my question mark. The number I need to know is equal to, I'm going to cross this out, make it a 7, so you can borrow. That's 10, that's 6, and 76 degrees. Okay, so I know that this angle has to be 76 degrees because 76 plus 62 plus 42 is going to be 180, so I can check myself there. Then I know something else now. I know because of vertical angles, if that angle is 76, then this angle is also 76, right? And I know that these three angles are supplementary. I know that because they have to equal that line that's 180 degrees. So I know that 76 degrees plus 36 degrees plus my x, that's the one I want to know, is going to be equal to 180 degrees. So first step, I'm going to add 76 and 36, and I think that's going to be 112. I'm doing this in my head. Let's do it long ways. 12, carry your 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, sweet. 112 plus some value is 180, so same thing. I subtract 112 from each side, and I find out that x is, I've got to borrow again. Now that's 7, this is 10, this is 8, 68 degrees. So I know that x must be 68 degrees. Okay? So I actually needed kind of all of those numbers in order to figure out what my x value was. Let's do one more kind of like that here. All right, you guys, another complicated angle problem is going to look like this. And this is what we're looking for here is actually this measurement, this angle measurement F right here. I'll highlight it yellow. This is what we want to find. We want to find what is the measure of angle F. So we have some markings here. We know that this marking and this marking mean these two lines are parallel. Okay? And we know that also the same on the other side, right? That marking and this marking means that those two lines are parallel. So what we have, since they're both parallel, we know that this is a parallelogram. And the other thing we know about a parallelogram is that the diagonals are the same. So this angle is the same as this angle, and this angle is the same as this angle. So as long as we can figure out what this angle is, that's going to be the same as F because of the vertical angle theorem. So one thing we know about quadrilaterals is that all of the angles, like triangles, all have to add up to 180. All angles in a quadrilateral have to add up to be 360. Whoops, 360 degrees. So I know I'm going to have two angles that are 2x minus 4. So that's going to be 2 times 2x minus 4. Plus, I have two angles that are going to be 7x plus 3. And I know that's going to be 360 degrees. So let's see, the first thing I want to do, if I divide everything by 2, check this out, you guys. If I divide everything by 2, so I have to divide this by 2, I divide this by 2, and I have to divide 360 by 2, what I get is these 2's cancel out, so I have 2x minus 4, plus these 2 cancels out, so I just have 7x plus 3 equals 360 divided by 2 is 180 degrees. So let's combine like terms. I have 9 x's all together minus 1 equals 180 degrees because negative 4 and positive 3 are negative 1. Then if I add 1 to both sides, I get this. Then divide both sides by 9, and I get 2, 0, and then 1/9 left over. This is going to be way more complicated than any numbers you have on your test. So let's just say I have 20 and 1/9. But let's just say, because I'm nice for this problem, let's just use the 20. Let's say x is 20. Then what we need to do is we need to know this angle, because that's going to be the same as this angle, which is going to be the same as this angle. So 7 times, that's a terrible 7. We have 7 times, instead of x, we decided x was 20. Plus 3 equals, well, 7 times 20 is 140, plus 3 is 140 degrees. So F is 140 degrees. Let me know. Send me a reminder if you have any other questions for the test. Otherwise, study hard, and I will see you tomorrow.